And finally, we are live. Oh my. I've been trying to get in here for so fucking long. You have no idea, guys. Let me lower this background music. It's like the kind of, I don't know. I don't have that many options in here for music. I'm finishing my little weed on my pickle rig on kind of stuff I use. So finally, I'm here. Nice to meet you guys. I'm effing, I guess, for now, and this is effing enlightened. So basically, for now, let's say I'm a disembodied voice living inside a uh, whatever this is. I guess is the body of this fat ass dude, which, don't get me wrong, I love the guy. It's just, it's hard to get through this guy. And, well, the only way to get through this guy, believe it or not, is to be doing whatever he's doing. And currently, he's doing podcasting. He's doing a lot of podcasting, if you ask me. All of it in Spanish, by the way. His name is Joel Lopez, but we don't use that name. He don't like using that name, so we go by Jolo, JOLOWX, which is his cute way of using his name without using his name. Jo as in Joel, Lo as in Lopez, and WX as in W for Wolverine, and like the X-Men character he grew up with, like his favorite X-Men guy, and X for the same, X-Men favorite comic book he read as a kid, and that's about it. And if you ask him, maybe he will tell you this, maybe he will like get it to a deeper meaning kind of shit. But yeah, that's all that is to it. Let me see. I got a message through WhatsApp here. Let me shut this noise up. Every communication he gets is regarding one of the podcasts he's involved. He's on a local Puerto Rican government politics podcast, which I enjoy being involved on Mondays. And then he was part of a really shitty one on Tuesdays. Finally, I got him to quit that and start doing this. So now we are off and we can do this, I guess. But more about that in a moment. Then on Wednesdays, he was doing some sports, which he knows nothing about. But it was something to do with his friends and whatnot, and he was like trying to reconnect with friends, but again, he has no way of or know how on how to get close to people he used to be close, unless he brings them into basically his world. And his world right now is creating content, creating these programs I'm telling you about. So that failed because of reasons, um, producers and whatnot not knowing, and he not caring. So then Thursdays he is in um, doing the geek podcast, which he enjoys like a whole lot because again X-Men's and MCU and DCU and all the bullshit. I love that he loves it. So yeah. Then we go to his channel because all of that is outside of his channel. He's just like going to um other people's channels, and but then Fridays and Saturdays is like his babies, airplanes going by, I guess. Yeah. Um, Friday is ni pura idea, not a clue. It's a game with the words, not a fucking idea. Yeah, some cuteness like that. Whatever. I guess it's kind of cute. I guess I like it. So um, that one is I'll leave that for last. And then Saturdays, they do Expediente Mortal. Ooh, that one is like the best one, I guess, right now. Objectively talking, like the more most viewed people comment, go live in. They're both live. They're all live, by the way. People go into the live stream, and there are a lot of them, and stay for the whole thing, and comment through the whole thing, and it's a pretty awesome time. So yeah, it's the best one, objectively speaking, I guess. So they Expediente Mortal or Mortal Expedient or File. They talk about like you know serial killers and fringe theories and aliens and all of that good stuff, ghosts and urban legends, and that's just so cool. And he enjoys like researching for whenever he's his turn, and I really enjoy being there. It's so cool, like everybody on the shows, on all the shows actually. So Nipuri, they are the ones on Fridays. That's the main reason I'm here today, I guess. Um, we started doing that as a therapy kind of deal on the first season. We first did a version of it in English, as I'm doing now. And if you go back and listen to it, you will find him talking about his way through discovering that he suffered from DID or multiple personality disorder. Um, so yeah, that may start to explain a little bit of this need to create something out of a different voice, you may say, right? Maybe to dissociate, maybe to mostly to talk to myself as I'm not doing this live and I have to edit and go through it. And again, this Effing Enlightened project is like the first season of Nipura Idea. Is mostly therapy for me, but as it happened with Nipura Idea, it resulted to be helpful for others and a really weird time for everybody. So yeah, we, it was what it was. And I do have a really different idea on what being enlightened or balanced in a spiritual way means. I love that dog. Thank you. And what trying to keep the balance between what we used to be and what we are now. It's a everyday struggle, you know. So basically, to put you up to speed, so you don't have to go and listen to Yolo's first episodes of trying to do something and really stumble like a lot into it. Basically, this is what happened. Um, the reason he doesn't even like his full name to be used is because he never had felt like himself, right? Um, he was abandoned by his mom and his grandmother. Her mother took him in and raised him and loved him, and it was amazing. We all love her. But his father, as of now, his biological real father, he doesn't know who that guy is. And the guy who gave um, the Lopez last name to Joel was a friend of the family. Like, this guy used to work for the government, and he had like this stable benefit package. So he wasn't able to have kids. So it was a pretty good deal. He wanted kids. I'll give him my last name. He will have like healthcare, better, healthcare that he will have otherwise, and benefits of that sort. So that's how it happened, which is weird by default. And long story short, he was like the worst of the worst, an abuser. Um, so that's when we first started like really popping up around Jolo's psyche, I guess, or head, or spirit space, or whatever you want to believe, or whatever. But this was necessary to protect a 5-year-old, 4-year-old at the time. And this guy started asking for Joel to go with him on weekends and so on. And yeah, the deal was that he wanted to have kids, and he was this responsible member of community by all means. So yeah, you know. But what people didn't know, and my grandmother didn't know, and nobody could have known that he was like the worst. He used to physically, mentally, verbally abuse his wife and the other woman he had. And even though he never, because it was this mentality, like, because I was his boy, um, I was like, I had to learn his ways. So I never like got hit, but I experienced all the abuse he was putting this woman through. And worse of it, all of we, I as a whole had to go through this sexual. abuse of having to being touching and doing all sort of sexual stuff to his not even his wife. She was a pretty straight up woman, but the other woman around, especially the one that later turned out to be his wife. And so we had to experience doing all kind of sexual interactions as I kept growing up. It turned out to be full sex, and I was what, 8, 9, 10, 11. And I said full sex because I like was forced into do the movements and stuff, and but I didn't have like the right penis size or function to go with it. But you get the picture, is what I mean. And of course, sex was terrifying as fuck for me, but at the same time, it was confusing and exciting, and but not around them. I mean, like afterwards in my real life, in the rest of the year, this happened summers and winters. Um, I was under like strict. Um, he always used to tell me, if you ever said anything about any of this, I will kill whatever your grandmother will do this and that. So I was terrified of saying anything. And the way I deal with it as I grew older and I got around 10, 11, maybe 12 years old is that I kind of like did the bro thing, like told my best friend, like, hey, guess what? I'm fucking this old lady. Once I learned, like on the street, and every kid was saying, like, you know what? I touch a titty and shit. And, I learned that they were like going about who was the popular guy, and because of who did what. And I'm thinking, like, what? But if the dudes, I have done like every fucking thing. I'm the king around here. So I did the bro thing, and on the outside I was like King Joel the fucker. Um, but in the inside I was like the most broken thing you have ever seen. I'm terrified about sex with like normal sex on those years, which would be like what, kissing and touching and whatever. um so finally, when I was around 13 years old, i I got sick enough of it, and I was older old enough to decide that I could, like, physically fight him. And he had like guns and knife, and he used to I remember one specific time he held a machete to her neck, to her lover's other woman neck. And I was there, and I was like 8 maybe. And she even like bled a little bit from the. And then not an hour later, they were like having sex and making me do all kind of. So it was hell, is all I can say. And in different occasions, he pulled his gun on her as well. So yeah. But around 13, I decided, this is enough. Even if he is coming, trying to come here after my grandmother, I'll finish him first, whatever. And that day never came. He just like, um, when I told him on the phone, I'm not afraid anymore. I'm not going, not today, not anywhere, anymore. No, nor now, nor ever. He just like joked lightly and like, yeah, well, he like he listened to something else. Yeah, is what I can say. I don't know. And actually, he did back out. Maybe he got scared that I will talk if he push or something. But he did back. He never asked again as to, do you like force, like call my grandma, and because other times I will, of course, tell my grandmother I don't want to go, but never told her why. So she will always send me because, like, come on, you have to. Um, so it's like you have to, and I was in this position of, well, unless I want to really tell her, I have to, and I always did. That time when he calls and she told me, I was like, no, let me talk to him, and I went to my room and I have line there, and I told him, like, nope, because of all of this, no taking this anymore, and no, and that was kind of the end of that, as the the continued abuse with all the damage. Damn. The abandonment by my mom, there was a different deal. She always said, I'll be there tomorrow to take you to the park or stuff like that. And you're going through all that stuff with your father figure, and maybe you want your mom around. Like, I really like felt that need, and I always like will wait for the whole, like on the movies when the kid is waiting on the steps and all the sad pity party stuff, the whole 9 yards. And so yeah, it was all those mm, little big things that started to fracture and making like the bro guy I mentioned, and like different different people, I guess. But we never fully knew that until um, right after we moved back here, um, which is another story maybe for another time. But yeah, that was, I guess, chapter one, how we got to be more than one in this little little big body of us. And all I can say is that since I got to this realization and started working to bring in every one of us into one, like suggested, everything inside my head has been clearer, has been better, because this my life is just like, you know childhood, and childhood was bad, but it's nothing compared to what came next. So yeah, and all that happened through life is what at some point took me to Reiki and Kundalini and getting deep into meditation and finding like what I call real peace and real happiness and finding the space where I live now, which is a place where I just wake up every morning and I truly and honestly feel happy and whole, and I feel that I'm doing what I love, and I feel that I'm not even working. I feel that I'm just living my best life. And it might be cheesy and stupid and whatever, but it is what it is. Um, at some point, doing all that I'm doing, I felt like I was kind of losing myself a little bit. And I remember this voice. Um, I remember the voice of the guy that meditates and is connected to everything around him and can talk about what happened in his life, if we can help others that went through it, but at the same time, he's not afraid to say fuck if it feels um, like this whole enlightenment culture of people acting like they are the Dalai Lama, or like they because now they meditate and do all these beautiful things. Now because they do all of this, uh, and they want to teach you how to do it, you have to change your ways in a matter that you now speak different and act different and behave completely different out of the blue. It's come on, it's so bullshit. I am who I am, and when I feel like I'm connected to everything around me and I feel all the love, and I'm still me, and I'm still the guy who went through all those experiences, and I'm not connected to those experiences the same way I was. And now I can even talk about those experiences without breaking or feeling any emotion. However, because I learned that and because I can tell you how I did it, it doesn't mean that I have to stop being the guy who, you know, rise from it and learn from it. And I talk the way I talk, and I am the way I am. I'm not saying fuck every 5 minutes, but sometimes I use words because I don't fucking care. I don't know. Why do we need to start like some people even change like their accents. Now they sound like they are from freaking China. It's like, dude, you're from Jersey. Like, what happened to you? Come on, let's be real here. So anyway, let's leave this one here. Now you know at least why. and that as I'm doing this, I'm kind of bringing. I don't even like to call him Yolo. I don't mind calling him me. Whatever, go with it. Joel, Joel, but he doesn't like that, and whatever, go with it. I can. This is not even going to be on his like Canal Colectivo Uno. No, it's going to be like his own. He has his own. I had my own, and whenever I feel like talking to him, and these first episodes, I guess, talking to you and explaining a little bit of how we got here. I'll do that. If you got any questions, I guess if anybody listens to this, they'll have a whole lot of them. I just opened an Instagram. It's the same, Effing Enlightened. You can find me there and ask me anything. And yeah, so that's that. I'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.